Thanks be to the Emperor you are alive, your lordship. We're most gratified by your return, and the crew is at full zeal to carry out any orders you may have. What happened to the system's sun? We saw a number of ships approach the sun. Black creations of inhuman make. Amalgams of sharp angles and edges. They surrounded the star, and then, my apologies, but I struggle to find words that would describe what a terrible sight. The xenos made the sun vanish into the void. Drukhari? As we did not have enough troubles on our hands already. Now let's do the xenos. Enemies of humanity. A breed of Aldari, most cruel and devious of their kind. The design of their ships matched the description provided by the Voxmaster. Like all xenos, the Drukhari are a blight on the face of the galaxy, but their technological superiority is indisputable. They abhor and fear warp sorcery, which is why they rely on the creations that twist intellect. Like many of those creations are capable of things that may be akin to sorcery and an enlightened eye, and theft of the sun is one example of what they're capable of. Are they in league with the Aurora's cultists? Oh my god. On rare occasions, Drukhari have been stealing suns. We could rule out the possibility. Drukhari would never ally themselves with the archenemy of worshippers. If I had to name one thing that humanity and the Xenos have in common, it would be to share the loathing of warp corruption. The situation calls for an immediate action. We can continue this conversation if you wish, but right now, I believe you should assume command. Alright, what's the current situation aboard? The Navigator's Sanctum is no longer empty, but the warp engine is refusing to obey the engine's seers. Without it, we cannot perform warp jump. It may be angry, or perhaps it's lamenting on the injuries it has suffered. I will immediately initiate preparations for prayer service. If the Omnissiah grants me comprehension, I will appease the machine spirit of the vessel. What is happening to the planet now? Our augur operators have reported numerous uprisings and other manifestations of the archenemy's powers in various locations on the planet. Based on the fragments of communication picked up by our Vox operators, there is practically no resistance being offered by the governor's forces. Millions of people are converting to the blasphemous Final Dawn cult in mass and assembling in prayer circles. Do we have any hope of retaking the planet? I fear Recommendorus is lost. The situation is deteriorating by the minute. We must leave the system as soon as possible. However, there are still people on the planet that have not succumbed to heresy and who are worthy of rescue. Besides a small number of our own shuttles, we also have shuttles salvaged from the starport. We must save as many as we can. It has happened for a reason. Saint Argenta, whose name I carry in reverence and trepidation, is famed for saving people of a dying world. Power of prayer. God Emperor himself sent a star from the heavens that lifted the saint of her followers up to the sky, away from corruption and death. We must do as she did, direct all of our efforts in saving those people who at this moment look to the heavens in hope of salvation. Lives of peasants are of little value. Prime objective is to save the holy relic. Oh my god, can't do two at the same time? And the elector priest who guarded it attended to it. Every moment we stand in the proximity of a dying world, we put ourselves at risk. Your life, Captain, Lord Captain, is far more valuable than all of Recommendorus. The Von Valencia's dynasty cannot be allowed to perish. And so, lamentable though it is, we must rule the idea of any evacuation. The world is doomed, and the inhabitants along with it. The disappearance of the world, or the star, was the final nudge towards death, the final of the cult of the Final Dawn's plan. And once witnessed a similar event, the world has surrendered to the servants of the archenemy and permitted corruption to enter in too deep. At this moment, millions of people are bowing before those who promised them salvation, and they are willing to giving their souls to chaos. Sacrifice great enough to bring forth the demon world. Our only hope is to stop this process is to retreat safe distance from the planet and conduct a target bombing in the Electro Priest Monastery. If we blow up the reactor, the thermonuclear reaction will follow. The world's oxygen will evaporate, killing off the entire biosphere. In doing this, we save millions of souls from the fate of a world worse than death. We will save Recommendorus from becoming the outpost of the arch-enemy. Whatever fate you choose for this world, I urge you to make haste, Lord Captain. The planet is burning in raging fires of crimson and purple. I can see it even in orbit. As I do see, the storm is already upon us. Every moment that we waste, it grows more difficult and perilous to steer the ship towards the warp's turbulent currents. I'm with the lady on this. Enough talk. We need to get out of here while we can. I'm not dogmatic, and I don't know if I want to put points into that, but I kind of agree with him. If we don't want the heretical people on the planet to be a location for them, annihilating them would be good. Which of the planet's inhabitants can we evacuate? The good thing would try to save some people, right? Which of the planet's inhabitants can we evacuate? The nobles you rescued to the starport, given their coordinates of shelters we could find surviving aristocrats and their families, or Sergeant Malgore's troops. They will control the crowds of frightening commoners and prevent the shuttles from being overloaded. Thanks to you, we have salvaged many shuttles from the starport that we can use. Now, if we can get more people, that's more people on our ship. Does that actually matter? Does that help us out? The miraculous fusion reactor must be saved. Why can't we not evacuate at least some of the people? Simple reason the transformation process will soon become irreversible and our sole weapon against it useless. The energy released from the bombardment would stoke the warp energies. I've never witnessed the aftermath of a bombing of a demon world before, but there is enough evidence of such attempt for me. You say the confidence that you do not want to see it. Oh, man. I really kind of want to just blow it up. That's kind of what I want to do. We're going to do it. Plus 15 dogmatic. Does that take away from my ironclast? I will immediately inform the navigation artillery decks the impending... Alright. The right choice. May the sacred exterminus cleanse the Valkyrie. Argenta's going to hate it. Techman's praying mixed together with senseless cacophony of while servitors are hastily removing hardened crust of sacred unguents from the warp engine components. What's going on here? The warp sextant is not responding to commands. The ship's spirit is rejecting our prayers in anger. I'm currently calculating a plea that might appease the noble priest. Why don't you assume control... Yeah, Magos, why don't you assume the control of the Technomat? Surely their contribution will speed things up. It only hinders me. I'm searching for a way to rectify the error. Crew, heed the word. Okay, of Magos. I kindly request you to take charge of the mess. Don't interfere. Let's just not interfere. Your Lordship, warp spawn have invaded the ship. We have blocked their advances by depressurizing one of the infirmaries in their path, but it's only a temporary measure. The crew have been ordered to arm themselves and pray for the success of the Lord Captain and the Engineer Prime. Crew, take heed. I kindly request that you take charge of this. We'll say, if you do not get the situation under control, we will all perish. This is my temple. Oh, you're right. This is my temple. Tech comrades, heed my instructions. Mayhem immediately subsides. The crew actions fall into indiscernible logic. The Omniscience servants are working in sync, and the binaric clamor becomes a symphony of reports. Admirably done. Amnesty guides me. Please take your place at the cogitator, Lord Captain. What are we doing? I've studied the data and discovered the machine node that was damaged as a result of the heretic sabotage. The functioning of the warp sextant was tampered with, and the ship's spirit, agreed by the violation of the right of operations, is now rejecting its calculations. I sought a way to rectify this error and have concluded that your participation is necessary to do so. Cogitator systems of the Temple of the Omnissiah are subordinate to the shell whose repository serves the machine we see before us. A machine created for your predecessor and one who used biological signatures, the dynastic blood in his computations. The spirits would recognize the ship's master and submit to its will. Should. Alright, step up to it. Lit with dozens of the huge machine is lit with dozens of vid screens and hundreds of rooms. Servants of the machine god, heed my command. Acolytes, prepare the incense instrumentation of the liturgy of the machine spirit propitiation. Senior technomats, recite the prayer, generate a current data report. Operations will be marked with the campanological protocol on Messiah Rejoice. I must inform you that the purpose of safety, complete reassembly of the warp sextant, and updating the datasmith blessings are required. If this is not done, then launch of a volume of aggregate calculation errors could result in the destruction of the data crypts. But we do not have 100 hours of our disposal. We must omit this procedure. Minor deviation of the right of operation for the sake of appeasing the spirit. What must I do? Place your hand inside the throat of the Cogitator Guardian, the cyber gargoyle, which has been assigned to guard the forbidden data crypts. The dynastic blood extracted from your veins serve as a key for the data core where the machine spirit dwells. To it we offer the prayer so that we may bypass the protective protocols of the defensive connections to the warp sextants. Law of the Omnissiah is no exception, so the ritual will remain at your side, placate the wrathful machine spirit in whose abode you are intruding. Follow my liturgies, Lord Captain, that we may receive his blessing. Place your hand in there. Clamp down your hand, breaking your delicate real sheath and releasing warm liquid into your gullet. What's it mean? Sound of your voice, called your servant who brown skeleton to build to cut out of your house and shudders with a screech. Benevolent code, a voice receptor. I hypothesize that the defect is located in the analyzer block. I register the reaction to the signal, but no process response. Temporary override is possible. The shell was created on the Forge world unknown to me. Initiating standard invocation of the spear. Okay, what should I do? Lord Captain, I now ask you to address the machine spirit. Speak to the following command. By my authority, I revoke the involatility protocol of the warp engine. The voice receptor will receive a vocal entry. Without your sanction, the machine spirit will not... Okay. By my authority... Servants of the Omnissiah, make the offering of cleansed data crypt to the machine spirit so that it may be filled with a true calibrated data. And the Omnissiah have mercy on our soul. Let the mechanism awaken in renewed purity. Not interfere. Massive errors in the warp sextant's calculations is destroying the data repositories. The offering did not appease the ship's spirit. Warp engines cannot be filled with the motive force. We are trapped. Perhaps an alternative Ryzen protocol or an emergency launch the auxiliary coils. Read the information. Stab true, stab false. I don't know what that means. What query? Prompt. Inju rescue query. O hallowed machine spirit, in the name of Amnesiah and the Emperor, reveal to us the power and guard us against our demons. Registering. Warp sextant activated. Registering. Data stream stabilizing. Registering. Zero data errors found. Reporting. Warp engine is ready for translation. Oh my gosh. I'm also reporting evidence indicating that the Category 3 miracle fulfillment criterion, thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils in glorification and function of the defiance, devastation, or deactivation. Lord Captain, Raver here. Crew here is almost finished carrying out the orders given earlier, and I received confirmation from the engineering halls. I do not know what you did, but the warp engine's up and raring to go. We are ready to begin translation of the warp warship. What happened? I hypothesize the ship's spirits heard our prayers and intervened. It summoned the power of the Omnicide to do something beyond my comprehension. I expect you to save my ship yourself and not pray for a miracle. Alright. Perceives the power of your faith would not have worked without it. I hope he will grant me the revelation that will allow me to comprehend the nature of the miracle. Alright. Let's commence translation of the warp. Waiting for you to send the captain's throne. May the Emperor protect us. Alright, let's get the hell out of here. On up that planet. Man, just killed millions of people. I'd have to say, be playing Warhammer here. It's so much weird things in this universe. It's interesting.
The Von Valancia's flagship made its way out of the doomed star system. As the void shift plunged deeper into the Corona's expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid a formal farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Theodora von Valancius. Having paid their last respects, the crew gathered their strength and braced themselves for whatever was to come next.
Seems like this is the end of an act, right? I completed chapter 1. I don't know how many chapters are in this game, but I completed chapter 1. Lord Captain, allow me to report. Our journey through the warp is coming to an end. Lady Navigator Orcelia informs me that we have reached the point where we can translate to real space. The Farabundus system. Lady Navigator and her pilots are waiting for permission to begin the process. Farabundus system is home of to Footfall, the only Imperium outpost that is functioning warp where Cronus expands. The tech priests are begging you to have mercy on the machines worn down by the warp and allow the servants of the Omnicide to inspect and heal the void ship's wounds in the dock. Prayers and rituals will take some time, which our astropathic choir will use to establish connection from the worlds or the prime world to your protectorate, Dragonus Janus, and Cava Gamma. Master Zachary Wise has recovered an invitation previously adrift from Imperium. Liege of Footfall has humbly requested an audience with rogue trader of the Von Valancius dynasty. According to the Master Zachary, the message was tinted the shades of pleading. I quote, "Apparently the Liege is anxious to meet as soon as possible." Footfall is a place where filth and sanctity go hand in hand. Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso likely expect a visit from me. I imagine he'll be interested in talking to you as well. I'll be leaving your void ship when we arrive on Footfall. Once that is done, consider the Lord's Inquisitor task complete. Okay, I got a bunch of quests popping up. Your Lordship, young Vane Winterscale has asked me to convey his gratitude to your hospitality and for saving him from certain death. Not wishing to outstay his welcome, he plans to disembark at Footfall. Lord Vane swears he will not forget his debt to you. I hereby inform Rogue Trader that during the comprehensive system inspection rite, unit discovered data clusters within the captain's cogitators that are concealed from prying eyes. By the means of personal cipher, the sacrament of algorithmic authorization. Unit Mykillangelo von Valencius has added to the access list and assigned the identifier Keeper 2. The unit can access the data from your captain's cogitator provided that he possesses the decryption key. Okay, are you leaving us, Henrix? The arrangement between Lord Inquisitor and the predecessor that be transported to Footfall and no further. I dare not take advantage of your generosity, my patience, or any more than I already have. I don't care if we lose him, per se. I'm never going to use him because he's just like me. Hope we meet again. True servants of the Emperor are always welcome aboard my ship. An integrator of Inquisition seldom gets to hear such words. Thank you for your hospitality. I'll never forget. Alright. Argenta, who is this Reverend Hieronymus? To talk to me. He's the head of the Drusian mission on Footfall, one of the most prominent clergymen in the sector. Paying him a visit is a good thing for all loyal servants of their Emperor to do. I assisted his mission before joining Lady Theodora on her voyage. I need his blessing to accompany the new rogue trader of the Von Valencius dynasty if you wish to have me aboard your voyage ship. I request that we meet with Reverend Hieronymus. Okay. Alright, Vigdis, tell me about the system. Herabundus is valuable due to its close proximity to the Maw and gateway of the Imperium. The system is mostly known for Footfall, the main base of our merchants, privateers, and rogue traders traversing the Coronos expanse. Additionally, the star itself is orbited by the Adeptus Mechanicus station, which is off limits to outsiders. Alter Temptum Calaxis X17 has an honor of tending the shrine for a few thousand cycles. I suggest you abstain from visiting the most tech comrades at the station are engaged in meditative calculation that should not be interrupted. Well, what do we need to know about Footfall? It's the largest port and trading capital of the Coronos expanse. It's a dockyard that will allow us to inspect and repair the void ships, and it boasts its own astropathic choir, Coronos expanse communication nexus. Not to mention pirate hangouts, smuggler caches, and forts belonging to dozens of gangs, groups, and factions. The Coronos expanse, the Imperium relies on this as its outpost. The fringes of humanity's domain rarely resemble its central worlds. But so long Footfall serves the God Emperor, insofar as it can, it will be considered as a citadel of Imperium. Though I have heard that ties it sends are underwhelming, to say. Due to Footfall's remoteness, it has developed its own rules and customs. Many of the goods can be procured here, but considered heresy in the heart of the Imperium, enough to warrant summary execution. Moreover, Footfall is the domain of the rogue traders, who transcend certain imperial laws by the virtues of the warrant they bear. Alright, Abelard, do you know anything about the Liege of Footfall? Vladim? Tokara is a very peculiar young man. Consider your upcoming conversation a baptism in the fire Footfall's political arena. Such things are not spoken out loud, but Liege Tokara is an appointee of Casabilica Mission? Casabilica Mission. Crime Syndicate, okay. The largest robber baron crime should have read further. Crime Syndicate is the Calaxis sector. They specialize in the cold trade. Buying, selling of all kinds of xenos. A cold trade is just illegal artifacts, xenos artifacts. Okay. Footfall was previously run by a liege who did business with several criminal factions at once, but he suffered an accident. Reins of power were picked up by Vladimir Tokara, pointed to benefits not only to Casablanca, but also their most powerful ally in the Cronus Expanse, rogue trader Calagos Winterscale. Vladimir is a slippery yet very cautious fellow. He does not usually beat around the bush and does not like to play mind games. Perhaps more importantly, he is no fool. Fools do not rise this high in the Casablancan. I'm probably hacking that. Keep in mind that you are a rogue trader and you stand above him in status and wield considerable power. Having said that, history has seen cases where the Casablancan barons cross swords with rogue traders and emerge victorious. Do not forget that. Remain vigilant. Casablanca, vile tech thieves. Why does the liege want to see me so badly? Not you personally. He wishes to meet the rogue trader of the Von Valentius dynasty. Tokara does not know about Lady Theodora's death and is simply seeking an audience with the powers that may be. My gut's telling me something must be very wrong in Footfall. Our astropath managed to read such strong emotion in such anodyne message. We have no information, Lord Captain. The broadcast from Footfall Astropathic Choir is the only missive Master Zachary has received. Alright. Footfall is just a brief stop. What next? As soon as we solve the issues plaguing our ship on established contact, the key world of our protectorate, time will come for your Magne Acasio? The official ceremony of donning the mantle of the rogue traders, most formally at this point. You already possess the privileges granted with warrant, and yet these major milestones in your personal history, the moment your name graces the list of heads of the Von Valentius dynasty, we are looking forward to that day. Okay, we'll tell Lady Navigator. I will give her leave and make the translation from the warp to real space. So much reading. One more thing, Lord Captain. No one knows the station. No one in the station knows about Lady Theodora's demise, and you inherited the title. Liege Tokara will be informed. It is required so we can dock. And besides, he is expecting a personal audience with a rogue trader. He will not meet with an unknown person of unclear standing. However, there's still a matter of announcing your arrival. You can either arrive on the station for pomp and circumstance, or you choose to visit. Tell me how I get benefit from these. According to the Footfall's unwritten laws, rogue traders enjoy special privileges in exceeding even the powers of the liege. However, may not choose to exercise those privileges in certain situations. Arriving incognito will give you more room for maneuver, while an official visit will allow you to directly intervene with affairs. I shall explain if you do not mind. According to the unwritten rule, every rogue trader arriving at a station has the right to veto any of the Liege's decisions. But here's the catch. The Cronus Expanse is home to several influential rogue trader dynasties. Footfall is where their interests intersect. Of course, that does not prevent certain persons, namely Calagos Winterscale, from subtly pulling the strings on Footfall. If you, as a new rogue trader, start your career with an official landing with the parade of your honor, the other dynasty may see a suggestion of a newcomer challenging the spheres of influence. I do not see that as a bad thing necessarily. Old Man Winterscale may take slight offense. Porta will be put on her guard. We have just risen to prominence, and most people in the Cronus Expanse have never even heard about Lady Theodora's departure yet. It must be made clear that the banner of Von Valentius soars high as ever. And if I may, I would recommend arriving incognito. You'll have plenty of opportunities to savor the sweetness of the burden of power. Right now, the last time you can take refuge is in obscurity. This way, your arrival will not draw much attention, and the people will treat you as a person, not an almighty sovereign anointed by the Emperor. Could turn some situations to your advantage. Officially, it'll be done, Lord Captain. With your gracious permission, I'll return to my duties. I'm assuming there's certain quests. I wonder how much of a change that would be if you selected the other thing, incognito.